I think that there are challenges in the higher ed world about rising costs, and universities and colleges are looking at all ways that they can reduce their costs. That means upfront costs as well as life cycle costs. So I think more and more colleges and universities will be interested in doing this, number one, to reduce costs, but if you can also create a better environment for students, I don't know why they wouldn't be interested in exploring this.
Yeah, it seems like there's a trend to rethink what you do on a daily basis. And anytime that you can potentially add more students within the same square footage, but maximize quality at the same time, is a kind of a win-win situation. So I think that's kind of what we're trying to think about when we're going through this, whether it's an existing condition or it's a potentially new project.
Yeah, it's a lot more planning than a typical housing project, because in architecture, all details matter, but in tiny living, every square inch matters. So thinking through some of those details early on in the process is very, very important, because there's not any room for error. If you have a bigger space, there's room for play. But when you're dealing with coordination with power and data and mechanical systems and working within tight situations, coordination and extra effort has to go into it.
And it's a great opportunity for designers to go much more in depth into all the different details of what it takes to build something like this. And even as we think of technology and what technology is doing and the opportunities that are created are exciting. And I think that in a way kind of makes it for a much more fun kind of playground, in that we can really test limits and push the envelope a little bit more. But because we're not necessarily increasing square footage, I'm actually thinking of decreasing it. I think it provides a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, Susanka, when she wrote The Not So Big House, was talking more about quality over quantity. And so I think that's what it provides the opportunity to look at that. Mm-hmm. So if you build, say, 25% less square footage, you can put higher quality into it for the same cost, right?
I think the balance between privacy and public social space is important. You have a little less amount of square footage, so that's important that whatever you're doing at a smaller scale is still going to maintain the idea of privacy. Sustainability is critical. The idea of being connected to daylighting, the idea of being able to operate your windows and connect to fresh air, the idea of biophilia, that you're connected with, whether it's wooden materials or materials that are very natural. There's obviously a thought about the cost and kind of the maintenance of natural materials, but at the same time, all houses, for example, have wooden floors, and that was not you buff them, right? You can treat them over time. So I think there is a maintenance component that is there, but it could also be for the positive. Maybe it's a little more first cost, but you're also, again, is the idea of smaller amount driven by more quality. I think those two would be very strong for me.
I think if you're going to design the bedrooms to simply store your materials and a place to sleep and a little place to study, right? You've got to give them a public space as a release from that. So we couldn't just design tiny living sleeping quarters without the public spaces to support it, because they would be claustrophobic. So I think to build on what Tomas was saying, that having a variety of public spaces that bring people together to complement the tiny, we'll say sleeping quarters that we're designing, it's crucial. I think we've demonstrated that through the work we've done.
And I also would say that most of the students have really tried. What they've talked to us was about having choice. Yeah. So when we think of the scales, the amount of different types of scales for the different activities that they're going to do, whether you're sleeping in your really tight quarters, to socializing at a suite level, to socializing at a neighborhood level, and socializing at a whole dormitory level. So you have the in-between spaces, the kind of learning anytime, anywhere idea that any nook, any cranny can be used towards learning, towards socializing. And it's not just your room and the hallway and some potential lounge at the end of the corridor. It's more than that. It's giving you choices and options. And I think that's kind of what we're hearing from them, that that's what they're really seeking in their units or in their living quarters.